to thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with everybody here today. I think I need to be able to share my screen, but uh, so again, my name is Jonathan. I'm from Self-Help Credit Union. We have four branches in the Triangle, but we've been in Durham since like 1980, focused on serving low-wealth communities and folks who are not well served by uh, existing financial institutions. Uh, and I help with our green lending practices. So we have been doing uh, green lending since 2024. Okay, I'll stop there. So right, so here I'm today. Today I'm here to talk about Energy Saver NC, which is the state energy rebate program. So I'll go over a couple of things today, but this is sort of what I'll generally cover. So I think it might be helpful to first start talking about energy burden and what is it, and then understanding how does energy get used in the house and how do we upgrade to make it more energy efficient. We'll talk about government incentives, and then we'll talk about when are loans appropriate. So I think the first thing to talk about is like what is energy burden and how does it impact, uh, disproportionately low income and minority communities. So first thing is that by definition is the percentage of your income that you spend on home energy. And a high energy burden is considered to be greater than 6%. So we're talking both like electricity and also heating and whatnot. And low-income folks, particularly those who are below the federal poverty level, they're the hardest hit. Just some sample statistics. I wasn't able to find statistics for Durham specifically, but I was able to find some for Raleigh, and um, not looking great, I think, is the answer for the situation. And so now that we have a problem, let's talk about how do we solve it. So, in order to fix any problem, we need to know where does it come from first. So, what what actually affects energy use? So, I like to think about it in these sort of categories. So, first, you have a house, you have a building envelope. It separates the outside from the inside. And so you have your walls, you have your insulation, right? This keeps the temperature outside different from the temperature inside. So having a good barrier is good, and having a not good one is bad. Um, Next is HVAC. So whatever you can't do with just that, you can adjust the temperature using mechanical equipment. So HVAC is heating, ventilation, air conditioning. So that's going to be by far the biggest energy use for any home, probably. Followed up by water heating. So, if you need to take your showers, or you need some hot water for your laundry, that's probably what's going to happen next. And then last, probably going to be your appliances like your cooking and cleaning, that kind of stuff. So, again, wanted to cover sort of the two biggest categories, right? It's like heating. So, just for shorthand, the best in practice is probably heat pumps. Uh, they they just move air, they just move heat from the air around you rather than having to use electricity from somewhere else or energy from an existing fuel source in order to heat. So that's why we like it. Water heating, again, heat pumps. Why use energy from somewhere else when you just pull it from somewhere else? Um, so how do we make these projects be more accessible for people because they can have major amount of savings for people. So talk a little bit about federal rebates. Tax credits are no longer relevant, and then and utilities. So main topic of this presentation, energysavernc.org. I want y'all to write this down. I want y'all to like come to this website immediately after this presentation. I want you to fill out an application. I want you to call the call center if you want to. But long story short, this program was enabled by the Inflation Reduction Act, and it has was launched by North Carolina in 2025 and is now active in Durham County and surrounding counties. Well, all counties in North Carolina. So they're under, Energy Saver NC, there's sort of two programs. There's homes, it's called Home Energy Performance Based Whole Home rebates, and the other one is here, Home Electrification and Appliance rebates. I want to separate these two out because I think they sort of serve different clienteles or different purposes. And they have different timelines, so they're kind of helpful for people to know, what to expect. So I'll start with homes. So the idea behind homes is that, you should really like there might be a whole lot of things that's not great with the house, and you don't know exactly what to do with first. It's for the person who's like, I just know my energy bills are high, but I don't know what to do with it, right? And it's also really good for like folks who have like very old homes and don't have much like insulation. So I would say that this is really great program for like largely like lower income folks who are below 80% area median income. Area median income, AMI, is a number that's determined by the federal housing department on like what poverty is. And this program, you will get energy efficiency services for free if you're under 80% area median income up to a cap, in this case, $16,000. And it's really focused in on insulation and air sealing, that barrier between the outside and the inside. If they have any extra money, they'll try to apply for other things like, HVAC or water heating. Generally speaking, this will take a long time, longer amount of time. Like we're talking about like weeks, maybe a month, that kind of timeline. So like these programs are not meant for like emergencies. If your heat goes out, you should not expect this to turn around for you like the snap of a finger. But it is good because this program is required to save people at least 20% off of their energy bill. Um, and because they're trying to aim for that, they will require the past 12 months of your energy bills to set a baseline. You have to use state-approved contractors as part of this program. So, in terms of the steps, apply on the state energy rebates, or fill out a physical form and send it into the state energy office via snail mail. Once they determine what AMI level you're at, then they'll send someone over to give you a free energy audit. So they're establishing the baseline. Then you'll get some quotes from contractors. After the energy audit, they'll tell you, okay, you should probably do A, B, C, D. And then you'll get quotes. You should get quotes from contractors to say, how much is this going to cost? Okay, then you choose, the quote that you want to go with, and then you do the project. Now here is a little bit different. So I would say, generally speaking, it's better for homes that already have some degree of insulation. Um, because there's no point in spending a lot of energy conditioning air if it's all going to leak right back out. So I would say that's best for like post 1970s homes. I suppose if you put in a lot of renovations already, then that's fine. But the way that I'm sorry. Uh, I am so sorry. This should say uh here. Um, Here is a rebate that's for specific projects. So I will show you the list of projects. But Lower income folks will get 100% of projects covered up to a cap. Middle income get half off. Faster turnaround time does not require previous energy bills. You still have to use state approved contractors. You apply, and then you call a contractor to get quotes, and then you get the job done. Um, in terms of the types of projects that are eligible, they're very specific. These are the seven. And the max rebate is that if you're in that like lower income, you get 100% covered. If you're, middle income, you get half off. Um, and I also want to mention a little bit about, local utilities. So Duke Energy is our utility. And they actually offer really strong rebates for upgrade home upgrades. You can do these alongside of what you get from the state. So you can, get as much money as you want. I will make a note that, Duke Energy will require a utility approved contractor. Now, a utility approved contractor does not necessarily mean that they are approved with Energy Saver NC. So you will might need to do some research in order to figure out, um, you know, um, how to get your maximum amount of money. Um, so I'm going to stop with a little bit of an example. So um, a couple of months ago, needed to replace my water heater. Um, raise of hands, which option might be the best? Connor,
I think here, right? Because you're just looking to fix up and like upgrade a specific piece of equipment, not your whole home.
correct. Specific, probably here. Um, so what do I do first? Apply first, or do I call a contractor first? Raise of hands.
Apply first.
Okay, that's correct. And how would I look into getting Duke Energy rebates for water heater replacements, or how would I go about it? Okay, I might just fill in here. Okay, so if I were doing it, then I would probably check to see the state energy rebate program first to see what are the contractors they work with. I'll get quotes from them so that I can, get the state rebates. And then I'll ask the contractors, are you a Duke Energy contractor? And then if that's a yes, then I know I can get both pots of money. That's how I would go about it. So, I want to take a brief bit of time to talk about when does a loan make sense. So, Suffolk Credit Union, our focus is on serving low-income folks. We don't believe in just having people get loans just because, we want to make money. No, we think that like people should get loans when their life ne necessitates it. So an example might be like a necessary upgrade that goes beyond the rebate cap. So let's say you're going with the homes and they spent a lot of money in order to put in all the insulation, air sealing. They're making that house as tight as possible. And they only have about like $4,000 left for anything else. Um, just for reference, a heat pump for space heating, probably $10,000. So if they wanted to use that remaining $4,000, either they just give it up or they cough up another $6,000 in order to try to get, a heat pump that could really that could probably cut their saving like their energy their heating costs by like, half or something. So, in that case, they might need a loan in order to like get up to that amount in order to make use out of the remaining amount, right? Another example might be like middle income applicants who want the rebate, but want to make use of the rebate, but they don't have the savings to cover the remaining costs because remember, like the cap, it's 50% of the project is covered up to a cap. So you get a cap to cover up the other half or more. Um, and then the third category would be like, like if you just think that, the upgrade that you want, the savings are going to exceed the loan interest. I think that's just common like financial sense. Um, so a little bit about self-help, we've been here since 1980, focused on low income and underserved communities. We were like, energy energy efficiency is important because it saves people money. We like that. How do we make people achieve that? So we created a loan for this purpose. So I'll make it really simple. If you own your house and you live in it, you can use this loan. We have credit score requirements like most institutions. We require income. Um, you can show us whatever you got. We'll see if you qualify. The benefits of working with us, unlike some so like I've looked into some like HVAC contractors, they usually will tell you, oh, if you can't pay it right now, here's some finance companies. Um, Problem with that is that there's a lot of iffy sort of actors out there. So they will have variable rates. They'll have like, oh, it's 0% for like the 12 months and then it'll shoot up to 30% afterwards. So it's sort of like that's really not great for consumers, like to want to understand what they're paying. So our job at SelfHelp is like fixed rates, predictable payments. You know what you need to do. Just see if you can do it. And we'll work with you to see so that you can pay. Um, we have local branch presence in Durham, so that's instead of like like some company out in like Utah or something. And so if you have questions, you can come talk to us. Um, you can also bring your documents over to our offices if you want to as well to fill. And then we also offer preferential interest rates for low income borrowers under 80% AMI. Um, I could make a very brief overview of this. Long story short, we got some philanthropic money. We got like over $500,000. We want to use it. We want to help people. So we are offering lower interest rates. Uh, we want to help people. So um, rates change as financial institutions do based off of the economic environment. So this is just for reference. These are some sort of like whatabouts. So what about renters? Short answer, renters will be addressed Q3 of 2026. The state energy rebate program, they're focused on the homeowners right now. People above 150% AMI, they get nothing. Homes with health or safety risks. Um, so this is, for example, like there's mold inside the house. You don't want to lock people in with the mold. That's not a good idea. Don't seal people in with the mold. So they're not going to be able to take advantage of this until they address the mold, for example. So that is sort of a separate issue. We can talk about this if you want. People without internet, how do they apply? There's a paper form. You can mail it in. The paper form is on the website. If you know somebody who needs help them print out the form. Or you can also call the state office in order to have them mail a form to you so that you can mail it back. It's a little bit of it's a bit iffy. Area median income, right? Just fill out the application and then they'll tell you like what you'll get. I think that's all that's really necessary there. And I'm going to stop and ask if there are additional questions. Yes, Connor.
So I was just curious. I like this whole setup. I think it's really great for helping people with these energy savings and also with the environmental benefits of energy efficiency. But I
Mhm.
was just wondering, what has the effort been like to push this program out to the community? Because I imagine that's one of the biggest challenges, making sure people actually know about this. So how have y'all gone about that?
Great point. So, it has really only been available in Durham County as of like December, so like
Okay.
last month.
Yeah.
So, it was available out in the mountains in June, but like we've had difficulty for different reasons.
Mm.
People are totally wiped out financially in the mountains. So that's sort of a different issue. So I
Yeah.
would say that we're in the beginning stages of trying to do the outreach. This is
Okay.
hopefully
Makes
one of
sense.
those first steps.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah, COVID.
Yeah, actually just following up on that question. So the sustainability office, my office, and I assume Rachel's too, she just started like, I don't know, a month ago or less, but we're definitely going to be doing a big push. Our public information officers were on a call with the state when this was getting rolled out to Durham County, to Durham. But it's going to take everyone, getting people to pay attention to anything is really hard. But through like our social services department and our public health department, which both serve people, a lot of people who would qualify for this. Um, I can even envision having the paper copies of the applications available, out in lobbies there. Scott, I'm interested in your thoughts maybe about having them available at the libraries. A lot of people there who don't have internet at home do go to the library to access the internet, and that we could put information up there in partnership with them. So there's a lot to be done for sure. We don't have an exact plan on how to do that, but I think there's a lot of opportunity. Also, there are organizations that already do like weatherization for people in these same economic conditions. And they are all well versed in this program. And all of those organizations are committed to helping people access any of the resources that they can access and stretch all of the dollars that are out there, as far as they can. So if someone applies, for example, for the weatherization program, but they also could apply for this, those organizations are well versed in this and will, ensure that people know about it. We, Durham County, have another program that I've spoken about to this group a while ago, but not everybody here was on that presentation. But we we also have a program that does some similar things, but for free for people at different economic levels. And we put together a resource guide that's available on our website that does list this as well as all the other resources. I'll put a link to that in the chat. It'd be great for people to help us get the word out about that resource guide as well.
Yeah, Tobin, please put in the link if you can. Dale.
Yeah, Jonathan, thanks so much for bringing this to this group and for self-help credit unions' efforts to make this available here in Durham. And building on what Tobin said, uh, what plans are there? And this is a wide open question, perhaps for others, and Tobin and Rachel. Are there plans for a workshop to help people walk through the application process? Not, make them aware, but also help them apply. Because I know,
Mhm.
a lot of people are intimidated by government forms and sort of thing. They don't know what they're going to get out of it. They might not have all the information or know where it is. Just some hand holding to help people get over that hump. Is there
Yeah,
any,
it's a,
Yeah.
are there
it's
any
a
plans for that? Yeah.
It's a great idea. We don't have plans for that. I will say, putting on workshops, it's so hard to get the word out and get people to attend that it's kind of a lot of effort to not have people show up for it. So we'll have to think about how to do that in an efficient and effective way. I do think when we're advertising the program, we would certainly say, if you need assistance, call this number, and just like put my phone number on it or whatever. And certainly Megan or I or someone else would be happy to walk people through it. Just from my own experience having workshops for things like this, you just don't get people to show up for them.
Yeah, I'm wondering if working through some of the neighborhood groups or like Merrick Moore. It's too bad that
Yeah,
Merrick Moore's
yeah,
not
that's a
with
good
it.
idea.
Yeah, or
Mhm.
with Bragtown. Anyway, I know there's
Yeah,
interest there. I personally may actually reach out to Merrick Moore about this because that would be a useful thing, I think. And then come back to you all with some ideas. So just a thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are good ideas, and I'll put them on our list. If you do reach out to Merrick Moore, can you loop me in there? Um,
Yes,
yeah,
I can, Tobin. Yeah, no problem.
thanks.
I'll say as a resource, the state energy rebate program does have a call center, and they can help walk people through some of this. I'm putting the information down below. It uh, obviously they're gonna have a limited number of staff. But I'll be honest, like not a lot of people have heard about the state energy rebate program, so they're probably not blowing up the phones.
Yeah.
So I think that they can probably help you. But if you want something in person, I do, I strongly believe in the idea of like someone who's sitting there right in front of you helping you out. We're trying to come up with our own, strategy around this, but yeah, I think that there definitely would be a benefit to like some community events where people help people fill these forms out and whatnot.
I will say this too, as we're talking about it, it's good for us to have this conversation here. We want the word to get out as wide as possible, but also it can be confusing for people sometimes if they're hearing, if they're hearing it from different places. I think that's good. But if it's not clear, like if you need help, call this one number. And if self-help saying call us and we're saying call us and the state saying call us and Merrick Moore saying call us, that can be confusing for people. And I think also the opportunity to get the wrong information, not intentionally, but maybe just somebody is, saying something differently. So I wonder if the message really should be call this state number. I don't know how people think. I'm putting that
Yeah.
out there.
I,
Yeah, Dale.
yeah, my understanding is the state can't help people fill out the applications. At least that's what we were talking about on our
Oh.
call. They are specifically not able to help people fill out the application. That gives people competitive. That's what
Oh, I
I
see.
understand because they're state. They're supposed to treat
Yeah.
everybody equally. Yada yada.
Yeah.
Yada.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm very happy to say for Durham, like I'll be the number and people can call me and I will help them if that's what people want. I'm very happy to have that be the Central Durham, number that's out there, an email or whatever,
yeah, good.
if that's helpful.
I also had a question. Well, John, go ahead first. I have a separate question.
I'm wondering whether there's partnership that exists or there are opportunities with the power companies for them to just incorporate into messages with people who have high energy bills in targeted, whether it's zip codes or uh, census tracts that have high proportions of low income folks that they're getting messaging about opportunities. Is that possible?
I'm sure it
We have
is.
to ask,
Yeah, you need to ask
you know,
Duke for that.
yeah, I don't know how Duke is handling this. They're a huge machine and they're very particular about what they message, but I know they're very aware of this and it may be that they are, but
So they're not in your universe of partners you're working with.
I mean, we talk with Duke, all different parts of Duke, it is gigantic. We do have contacts with some of the folks who run some of their income qualified programs, and we can check in with them and see how they're handling that. I'll make a note of that.
It would be a question to pose to the state too, John, because the state, if I'm running
Yeah.
a state program, I'd be wanting to get it out not only to Duke, but all to the munis, the municipal utilities, as well as the rural electric co-ops.
Now the LIHEAP program, which helps people with their utility bills, is passed through the state, and that's run through our Department of Health and Human Services. And I am going to be working with them to make sure that anyone who comes in applying for assistance with their utility bills also gets information about this program. But that's just in Durham. What you're saying, John, also is across the whole state. And I think it's Duke could be a good partner for that.
I had one other question or point, and that's that, the state got, I think, $156 million for this program from through the IRA. And so there is a limit in the amount of funds, and it's gone out to a variety of counties in a phased process. Uh, Jonathan, to what extent does self-help know about the limits that Durham might have to, I, I know people are encouraged to apply for this. It's sort of a first come, first serve. Um, is there any talk about running up against the limit at all here in Durham or statewide?
I haven't heard it. Frankly, I'm going to try to be polite and say that they've had challenges in getting this program up. So I frankly think that the opposite problem might be more of an issue. Yes, Akeshi.
Hello to everyone. My name is Keisha Satterwhite, and I wonder, I'm the owner of Planning Ahead, but also I am the new board chair for the Merritt Moore community itself. And so I'm wondering, is there opportunities for there to be tabling at some of our upcoming events? So I know that you just mentioned that you would reach out to Benita, but I think that we have upcoming events around Martin Luther King Day. We have other events that will be happening at the Merritt Moore community. We do partner with also the Bragtown community. And so there are several events that we do have planned in 2026. And so maybe there's chances and opportunities for maybe you can come, Tobin, and table at some of those events or provide us with some additional information or step in and briefly speak at some of these upcoming engagements and kind of share this information with the communities as we do have those connections.
Absolutely. I'll say that for my sake, Self-Help would be glad to be a part.
Yeah, Keisha, it's good to meet you. I know Benita has my contact information, but I'll also put it in the chat, and maybe you can reach out to me with the specifics of the events, and we can work something out. If we can't do it, maybe another partner who's well versed in this can come out to those.
We have a board meeting this evening, so I'm wondering, is there opportunity if I send you a quick email, if there's information that you want me to be able to share during our meeting this evening, just to get this on our radar, that there is opportunity for us to be able to discuss having this information disseminated at some of our upcoming events.
Sure. I just put my email in the chat.
Are there any other questions for Jonathan or comments while we're talking about this program? Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan. This was really great and a really good discussion afterwards. So I will now move us to if anyone has kind of general announcements or things they want to bring to the group before we close out.